Hello, people. Back again. Today we're going to talk about the new Godzilla movie came out. Godzilla originally came out in 1954 in Japan. This year is its 60th anniversary since the original movie, and later came out in the United States in 1956, which of course was heavily edited and added Raymond Burr as the American reporter. Now, the Japanese version is a masterpiece. It's a very dark, emotional movie compared to the American movie. If you want to see one, see the Japanese version. But originally, when they announced the 1998 Godzilla by TriStar Sony, Columbia Pictures, I was very excited for that movie. Having a big budget American-made CG Godzilla movie would be cool. Like, because Toho in Japan traditionally makes models, rubber suit with a little CGI, low-budget movie. Because, that's what the market calls for. So that's what they do. And I was disappointed with that movie for several reasons. I thought Godzilla looked like any other dinosaur at that point that came out in CGI. He didn't look originally different. The characters in that movie were generic characters to me. The love story was unnecessary. But ultimately, the biggest complaint I had with the movie, all the other stuff, was probably minor stuff. With the whole Godzilla is going to continue to breed, and in so long they're going to take over the world kind of thing, completely broke the story that Godzilla was. Anyway, I can watch a movie today and find it entertaining. I just don't consider it a Godzilla movie. Now, the Godzilla in 1998, people call him Godzilla, but really, in the Toho universe, he's now Zilla. He was in Godzilla Final Wars, which came out in 2004 in Japan, in which he fights Godzilla and he gets beat within 3 seconds in Australia. And in the current comic book series, they did fight, and they even mentioned in the comic book series how the Americans mistaken it for a Godzilla. It's not a Godzilla, and comic book Godzilla beats it up badly and was going to basically, like in this Godzilla movie, feed on it, but the military had stopped him. So, there you go about that. So when they originally announced this new movie by Legendary Pictures and was going to be produced by them, and that Garth Edwards was directing it, I was very excited. Now, Garth Edwards has only done Monsters, which was a $2.6 million budget he had made. This is a $160 million movie. His only second movie ever made. So some of the things he did, you kind of got to understand that it's in a sense not experienced with big budgets. I thought most complaints for this movie were minor, by the way. Why Godzilla does look bigger, and even when I even asked my wife who went with me, she said Godzilla looked fat. But they can always tweak that through movie to movie kind of thing, kind of like to do with like Spider-Man or any other. They can tweak it a little bit, make, slim down or do whatever they want to Godzilla if they want to. But overall, Cranston, who everybody's seen from the trailer, was amazing in this movie. His performance was awesome. He's only in about a third of the movie, but it was a very impactful performance to set the tone for this movie off the beginning of it. Kevin Wannabe was really good in the movie. He was more the moral compass in a sense about how nature always corrects itself, and Godzilla was basically nature's balance. That's why he existed. Godzilla's origin was rather interesting in this one, because in this origin, Godzilla's existed for millions of years. He's basically the alpha predator, and they point out that him and creatures like him, originally when radiation was abundant on Earth, that's what they basically fed off of, and when it went away, they basically went underground and went dormant, or or feed off the Earth's core that has radiation. That's their premise. So the premise is setting up the possibility of other creatures coming up from being dormant in the future for Godzilla to fight, and hopefully in the next movies, since this one did really well and they're pretty much gonna announce a sequel, hopefully we get more Toho monsters, and hopefully Godzilla can fight some of the ones that people know. The Mutos weren't bad in this film. They're kind of generic in a sense, typical monsters, except for the fact they are radiation, and since they are radiation, Godzilla's hunting them. They're his prey, and in this movie, that's the only focus of Godzilla. He's hunting them, they're his prey, nothing else. He doesn't care about the humans. He doesn't, when they attack him, he doesn't he's just, the only thought, his thought going through Godzilla in the whole movie is hunt the Mutos down because they're food. Because they're made of radiation like him, and he lives off radiation. They do a great job wrapping it all up, not really leaving any loose ends in a sense in the movie. with the Mutos and questions you normally have. Like, well, that spore sac was what happened to the one that didn't open, which they answer that and stuff like that. Basically, for the Mutos, they came from a creature that bones of a creature they saw that clearly they think was killed by Godzilla, and they were left, and one hashed and basically caused incidents that happened at the beginning of the movie. You have to see the movie to see it. But this, with Godzilla, they kind of went with the Cloverfield approach. I mean, they were fighting, fighting, or the creatures were trying to end up converging on each other. Things are happening, but the humans, it's all focused on the humans. But, events are happening with the creatures, right? That's basically what, kind of the style without the shaky video camera, right? I thought they handled it really well. I know some people complain about not enough fighting, or not enough about Godzilla and too much on the humans. I thought they could have done a little more fighting, a little less humans. But overall, I did enjoy it that way. I mean, Godzilla movies have always been the stories about the humans being involved in something that's going on with Godzilla. In this case, is the same thing. The military isn't effective in this movie like they are in every Godzilla movie, right? They can't stop him, but yet they keep trying, no matter what they throw at him. His size really didn't bother me in this movie. Not like the 1998 one. I just, for some reason, the 1998 one just seemed too big to be scary to me, but this one didn't. I don't know, maybe just because this one looks more like traditional Godzilla. And I did love the first time he ever used this, basically, his atomic breath. It was awesome. How it built up from the tail all the way up, and then he does it. The thing about the creatures are, you do get the sense that Godzilla is a badass in the King of Monsters, because when he fights the creatures, you can tell, okay, one-on-one, there's no way these creatures can beat him. He's clearly going to destroy them, and there's nothing they can do about it, kind of thing. But they do tag team him, but ultimately I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the story. I mean, Ford, which is Cranston's son in the movie, he kind of was, I didn't really care for the character, but at the same time, there wasn't much development of the character, because he had to be everywhere that everything was going on with Godzilla and the monster kind of thing. So you can't have development when he's always moving around. And they tried to make it about his family, but that didn't exactly go through as I think they wanted to. It wasn't bad. Again, someone who has kids and you see something, a kid in danger, what would you do if that was your kid kind of thing? You kind of feel emotionally attached to that kind of thing. But it didn't come off, I think, the way they wanted to. It wasn't bad. It's just like, it wasn't like, you felt his whole family was in danger or something like that. So it was a really good movie. I like the way they handled Godzilla. It's more of a retro Godzilla. A lot of ways they handled the situation. I'm glad they didn't go the whole Godzilla versus humans that they've done, and when they always retell the origin thing. I'm glad it's Godzilla fighting some kind of monster, with the humans being involved. The humans making a really stupid decision that they almost paid for, which you have to see the movie to see that, because that decision ultimately would have, they think they would have been able to do this, but it might have just made the creature stronger. And I know some people have argued about the ending of the movie, but honestly, the ending fits every other Godzilla movie. And you had to have that ending to make a sequel. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. I liked the performances. Cranston and Wannabe were good. Everybody else was kind of all right. And a lot of it was their characters and the situations they were put in this movie. But Godzilla was awesome. When he got to use his powers, and when he got to fight, they were awesome scenes. They were awesome fight scenes for him. And so I overall enjoyed the movie. What did you think about the new Godzilla movie? Did you like it? Not like it? Would you like Garth Edwards to have another run at it? I sure do, because I think he would change. I think he'd be able to tweak certain things to make it a more tighter experience.